Thanks for staying with us. So 25 years ago, Nigeria embarked on a journey towards democracy. It was a path paved with courage, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. Today, we celebrate 25 years of unbroken democracy. We will be discussing democracy in Nigeria so far, the ups and downs, and everything in between. Joining us on the show to enlighten us more is a broadcast journalist and a social activist, Mr. Taiwo Olapade. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you.
Thank you so much.
All right, before I even start the conversation on democracy, Oga, the national anthem, have you learned it? You know it.
Well, I'm learning it.
You're in the process.
Because you're about to put you on the spot, because I wanted you to sing stanza 1 and 2.
And maybe you sing it first.
No, I can sing it after you sing it.
Okay, we can do a
Cannot
chorus.
sing it
We can
this
sing
one.
it. Let's sing it together. So
After that
that,
first sentence.
I'm lost. I know at all. I know.
Abaka, have you learned it?
I'm trying.
Obiajilu?
I will learn it.
Okay.
so we're all the same.
We are all learning. I'm
all
telling you.
learning.
When I heard it before the president's speech, it kind of gave me a sense of pride. You know, I don't know the words, but I mean, it just there's something about the tune that still gives me some kind of confidence as a Nigerian. I don't know, I'm just in my head, but definitely we're all going to learn. Aside from Nigeria, we'll finish. I don't even know. So we must learn it, hopefully.
We have to.
But we're so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you so
because it's 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, and our president's speech spoke quite a bit about democracy. And one of the things that stood out for me was the fact that, you know, he reminded us that democracy is not about elections. It's all democracy is who we are as a people. There are so many factors, and the beauty of democracy is dissenting views. We must speak differently, but we must understand that that difference shouldn't lead to violence and repression. And so, you know, so I mean, those are interesting words. But what are your own view as democracy in Nigeria? Because myself and BC, and even me, I've said it all the time that I feel that we need to modify our democracy to suit who we are. You know, I've always said that for years. But you know, but the president is insisting that this is the only system of government that the people actually have a voice. What are your own views on democracy as we practice it here in Africa, in Nigeria?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. The president's speech, if you look at it, it lasted for around about 20 minutes thereabout.
Yeah.
And it touched on so many areas, starting from the June 12th, those who sacrificed their lives, you know, for June 12th, for the democracy that we all enjoy today. And it was also one of them. He also played a very prominent role when it comes to the actualization of, you know, the democracy that we are practicing now. We remember the days of the Nadeko. He contributed a lot. And he also made reference to so many Nigerians across board, across the line, either Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, that played very prominent role. And I think I give kudos to the president for that. So coming back to 25 years of unbroken democratic practice, I think I give it to all Nigerians. I won't say for politicians alone, because it is a collective responsibility. Whether we like it or not, we know we have people that we have elected into various offices, either at the national level, subnational level, and even the third tier of government, which is the local government level, which is the closest to we Nigerians. We all have a role to play to sustain these 25 years unbroken democratic practice. And like I said, I think I give it to all Nigerians, not just politicians, because politicians, if you look at this, how many of them are actually in the ruling class? I sat down with a former speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly a few days ago, and we were talking about how did we get to this point. And I said, you know, innocently, that people have been saying that the ruling class are the reason why we are where we are today. And he said, no. I said the ruling class, maybe put all of them together. The president, the governors, the council chairman, the ministers, those who are maybe elected and those who are also appointed into various
I don't even want us to talk about ruling class or not. I want us to focus on democracy, because a lot of young people just hear democracy. They don't even understand it. They don't understand the power of it. They don't understand the fight that went down 31 years ago when the election June 12 was annulled. So there are a lot of things that happened. I would like you to just feel into the essence of democracy. Maybe we can remind ourselves why it is so important for us to be celebrating 25 years of this uninterrupted system of government.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let me start by saying that late Chief M.K. Abiola, when he stood for that election, when he contested, he had, it was Muslim tickets. And Babangana Kingibe was his running mate. And he won that election landslide. It was a landslide victory for him. And M.K. Abiola had an agenda to reposition the country, to give Nigerians a kind of a worthy life to live. And that's what exactly he stood for. This is a man that across board, he doesn't discriminate. Even beyond the shores of the country, you can see the impact of late Chief M.K. Abiola when he was alive. And he felt like I can do more if given the mandate to rule the country. But unfortunately, like they do say, the rest is history now. The election was annulled, and we had an interim government at the point. But I'm happy that today, the successive government had given recognition to that June 12 election. Though we can't have MK Abiola back. But what the man stood for, are we getting it now in this current democratic practice? I think the answer to that is for you and I to really ponder over. But I'm saying that for 25 years of unbroken democratic practice, I commend we all Nigerians, and I think that is the way to go, because whether you like it or not, democracy is a kind of government that gives equal opportunity for all Nigerians. Compare it to when we are under the military rule, the military junta. Some people even say that when some people make this comment that it would have been better to have a return to, I said, no, don't go there, because when you compare democracy, we all walk around, we say things that we like, and nobody's looking at, nobody's running after us.
Let me
you can't do that under the military rule. You can't do that.
So I know we're celebrating 25 years, and I understand that democracy is supposed to be a government of the people, for the people, and by the people, right? And I want you to look at the 25 years of democracy that we have been practicing so far. Have we achieved a government of the people? Have we achieved a government by the people? Have we achieved a government for the people in these 25 years that we've had so far? Just help me, explain it to us.
Well, that's $1 million question. And sincerely, there is always two sides to a coin. It depends on which way are you looking at it. And whether you like it or not, people will say we are still having a kind of nascent democracy, and it's still work in progress, whether you like it or not. But there are things, there are gains that we have achieved over the years. Number one, unity in diversity. We are still together as a country. We are the most populated country in Africa. We are over 200 million, So imagine if there is a crisis in a country that has a population of over 200 million, where else can we run to? So for us to still remain together as one, I think we should give kudos to all ourselves, all of us as a nation, as a people of this country. And like I said, democracy is work in progress. Whether you like it or not, there are things that has been achieved over the years. But can we ask that, can we have done more? Yes, I believe we should have done more. And by doing more is what we give Nigerians that sense of belonging that indeed democracy is better than any other form of government. But it's a challenge to those who are ruling us, maybe the ruling class. Mariah said maybe I shouldn't say ruling, but whether we like it or not, there's nothing we will say that will not make reference to those who have willingly surrendered our mandate to govern us. Whether we like, we must make reference to them. So I say this time that we are celebrating another June 12 as Democracy Day is a clarion call on all our leaders to also search their mind. We voluntarily surrendered our mandate to them. Have they really given us what we are expecting? To some extent, we can say yes. To some extent, we can say maybe it is still work in progress.
Okay. So, for the past 25 years, what do you think are the roadblocks, that is fighting our democracy? Do you think that conflicts triggered by political competition and corruption are major threats to our democracy within the past 25 years?
Well, corruption. Whether we like it or not, corruption is a major threat to, not even just in the country Nigeria, in any part of the world. If there is so much of corruption, definitely the larger members of society will find it difficult to have or to live a worthy life. However, when we say corruption, it takes two to tango. We need to ensure that, number one, I want to speak about the cost of governance. Whether we like it or not, we need to reduce the cost of governance in the country. I can argue it anywhere all along. Because when you look at the majority of Nigerians, and Nigerians the way we are, we don't really ask for too much from our leaders. Let us have good road, let us have potable water, let us have constant electricity supply, let's have jobs created for the youths, for the teeming, Nigerians, for the unemployed. Let's have a conducive environment for our businesses to thrive. Those are the things, and these are just nominal or just little things. But in a case where we are still battling with, we don't have lights, we have had 25 years of unbroken democratic practice, we are still struggling to fix our road. In that regard, I don't think those that have been saddled with that responsibility has really done well. And I want to cite one example. Dangote built a refinery within the space of over 10 years or thereabout with about $20 billion. In Nigeria, that we have returned to democratic rule for now, we are talking about 25 years. How come, as a nation, that we have not built one refinery? And in terms of even doing turnaround maintenance for the 4 major refineries that we have, yet it's still the same whole story. That means we are not being just. We are not being sincere with ourselves. If a single man, we know he's a businessman, and we know that even as a nation, are we saying that we don't have that money to build a refinery? Because our problem today also, we can also make reference to the petroleum sector or the energy sector. It's one of the major reasons why we are where we are today. And I'm saying that is a major question for all of us to answer, to ponder over. In the last 25 years, are we saying that the nation is not wealthy enough to have built one single refinery that will be functioning?
Let me get Ramasui.
Okay, so in the last 25 years, I must be honest, we are not happy. Nigerians are not happy with the outcome, with the way things are, because things are a lot difficult right now,
I agree.
especially for the average person. Yes. I'm going to speak for my region, like the northern region now. We are battling insecurity. In fact, insecurity right now is even
banditry,
yes,
Boko Haram.
yes. So it's even like a trade now. They kidnap you and make money. They are not even after. They are not asking for large amount of money as ransom. They can even collect as small as 20,000, 30,000, kidnap you, and all. So it's becoming a business, And this has been the problem back to back. Every president that comes will say, okay, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to do this, and nothing has been done. Presently, I think yesterday, the Zamfara state governor came out and he said that there is just nothing to be done anymore. He's giving up because the banditry thing, he has eaten up the states. If it's not attacked, if it's not handled, it's going to affect all the other northern region. And I want to ask you, what is the president doing? What plans does he have for this insecurity?
Well, insecurity is a big challenge. When you talk about the major challenges rather that is facing us as a nation, you talk about insecurity, you talk about corruption, you talk about infrastructural deficit, and you talk about maybe also when you talk in terms of infrastructure, it's also the lack of power, electricity, and particularly for insecurity, I find it so sad that people will come into a community and it will take them 30 minutes, 1 hour, and they will operate. They kill, they maim, they kidnap,
take over.
And people will say we did not see an immediate response from our security agency.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they are not doing work. They are not doing their work. But sometimes when you listen to the reaction from these people, they said these people they took time to ransack the entire community, and it was after they left that we see our security agencies coming to to ask what has happened. I find that sometimes so challenging, so sad. But that doesn't mean, like I said, that our security are not also doing, because they are also overwhelmed, they are also overstretched. So many operations, so many operations that is being conducted nationwide at the moment by our security agency. And we're also saying that we're also under police. We need more police. Whether we like it or not, we are people of over 200. Our security apparatus, put them together, and I'm not up to 1 million. How do you expect a security force of about 1 million to police effectively people that are over 200 million? It is not a rocket science. However, even with the little that we have, we see that most of our security men are also detailed to VIPs. When you see a VIP moving around, I'm not saying that they also do not deserve to have an escort for one reason or the other. But in a case when you see a VIP that has been attached to about 6, 7, 8 policemen, DSS,
Okay.
army, and the likes, and leave the rest of us to care for ourselves, it doesn't all go well.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the president's focus on economy, what he plans to do to revive, and asking for Nigerians to, understand this season and try to see if we can wait it out to a brighter future. Let's go. Thanks for staying with us. So our president in his speech was saying quite a bit about the economy. Obviously, he understands where we are as a country, and he's almost begging Nigerians to, continue to sort of manage this season because there's a greater future ahead. What are your thoughts on that part of the speech when he talks on the economy and what he plans to do to revive it?
Well, the president, at a point in his speech this morning, let me quote him. He said, "I feel your pains." And that's a very strong word. And sincerely, whether you like it or not, I don't think that a president or a governor can be elected to come and punish his people. I don't think that can be the case. However, we have given them responsibility, and they must give accounts, particularly on those responsibilities. When the president was coming in, he campaigned on the agenda of about the 8-point agenda. It is for you and I to ask that question now, that in the last 1 year, have we really seen that into practice? And like I said, whether we like it or not, there are things that have been done, maybe in the last 1 year, but Nigerians, the expectations are so high. Let us be honest with ourselves. And the kind of hunger in the land is so unprecedented. And that is the truth.
Let me paint a picture for you.
Okay.
And I like what you said earlier, that our president said, "I feel your pain." Let's stay on that for a minute.
Okay.
A father tells you, "I feel your pain."
Okay.
Right? And in the house, you see him buy a brand new car.
The family
right?
is hungry.
And the children have not eaten. He buys a brand new vehicle. His colleagues, all the managers in his office who has hired, buy brand new jeeps, right? And then they fly in abroad for their health and, paying school fees abroad. And the children at home have not eaten and they're hungry. And they're getting them just little, tiny things to eat. And the man keeps saying, "I feel your pain." The point is, Nigerians hear the president, but they don't see it. So I've been saying it before. You can say renewed hope as a president, but are the people working on you, have they renewed their hope? Have they aligned with that vision? It's one thing to say, "I feel your pain." Am I seeing that they are feeling? That's the problem Nigerians are saying. We're not seeing it. So when everybody you're working with is not aligned, it's a problem for Nigerians.
I made mention of the fact that we need to reduce the cost of governance.
Exactly.
I said it that I can argue it anywhere frontally. Until we do that, we will find it so difficult to get it right. And that should be across board, maybe at the state level, at the federal government, even at the local government level. The president said, "I feel your pain." And like I said earlier, I don't think whether at the national level or at the subnational level that any of those that we have elected, we have the mind or the mindset of, "I'm coming to office to punish Nigerians." However, just like you have also rightly put, you are telling us to sacrifice, but we are not saying that on your own side. So you need to practice what you preach. That is when Nigerians can really, say, okay, let us give him time. But when we are not saying that, definitely is when we see some kind of reactions, we see protests, we see people, not being so happy. So whether we like it or not, those are the helms of affair. They need to practice what they preach, and we need to cost of governance. That's a major problem, whether we like it or not.
So for me, it seems like is a struggle for the ruling power,
Yes.
people in positions of power, to agree to this cutting cost of governance. It seems like it's something they are really holding on to, because every time you raise that conversation, they say, no, this is the package I'm collecting. No, this is... But there are other expenses, aside from the monthly salary that you're getting, that is actually wastage, as far as I'm concerned. We have data on some amount of money used for refreshments, used for fragrance, used for, travel, renovations. Those are excessive. And the economy cannot sustain that. We keep borrowing money to fund this. And then you come and say you are feeling our pain. Which of the pain exactly are you feeling?
Yes, and then I also want
Now, how? So let me add to that. Okay. Now, how do we get them to understand that we need to remove all of these excesses for Nigerians to believe that you mean well for us? It's not enough to have an intention not to come and punish, but your actions are punishing.
Yeah. But that's exactly the point.
Let me let her add her own so I can respond.
Yeah, but like I also, before I add my own, in line with what she also said, because that's what also prompted the minimum wage negotiation that also made the labor people not to agree, to say you can afford to pay this, because if the government is spending this X amount of money on excessive traveling and fragrance and stuff, why can't you pay? But then, you also have to put into consideration the private sector. Because when you talk about the minimum wage, it cuts across not just the public sector, the private sector. Because if it was just for the public sector, we would have insisted on whatever amount that the NLC people were arguing about. So,
but for the private sector, you need to have about 25 workers
before you can.
So people like us that have 2, 3, 4 workers, we are good.
Yes.
But even at that, those who have 25 workers within their establishment. Are we sure that they have that capacity to pay that money? We can say for government, fine. And for government to be able to do that, I want to also reiterate that I said we must ensure that we cut the cost of governance. How we are going to do it collectively? How we are going to do it collectively? And it's a collective effort. We can't just leave it to them. Now, recently we heard about 120 million or 160 million vehicle for each member of the National Assembly. And I asked the question, if there's a traffic on the road, this vehicle, does it have the capacity to fly? Why do we need that? We don't need that. These are just primitive accumulation. We don't need it.
We're having live pictures of our president arriving at the Eagle Square. It's important for us to note that he and the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, just arrived at the Eagle Square. And these are live footages coming in from Abuja as we celebrate the 25th Democracy Day today as a nation. This is such a significant part of our existence as a democratic state. And I think as much as we like to condemn our country in different ways, we must also celebrate, maybe we can use today also to celebrate the importance of the fact that we have been able to stay together. Many countries have been through what we've gone through, and they've totally dismantled. Yes. They will not be able to stay together. We, with all the wars we've had, all the differences we've had, the repression, the depression, the struggles, and with our population, we've been able to stay together. So there's something worth celebrating here.
That's exactly what I said. I give that to all of us Nigerians, that despite all the challenges, we are still together, unity in diversity. However, for those who are in the helms of affair, they need to think twice, because God forbid, if there is a kind of uprising from the country, definitely which country will have the capacity to accept us as refugee or as the case may be. It's a collective responsibility for all of us. It is a collective responsibility. And unfortunately, most times we often narrow down on the federal government, forgetting that we have 3 levels of government. We have the federal, we have the subnational, which is the state, and we have the local government. And it is also on record that it is unprecedented that since the removal of the fuel subsidy that is also causing these major challenges that we are having now, states are getting so much money. Local government are getting so much money. Have we also sat down to go and ask our governors the money they are getting, how have they spent this money? Have you also asked our council chairmen the money they are getting? Because we all live in local government and in state. We don't live in the federal government. We live in state. We live in local government. Have you asked them There are some of them in Lagos that I know that are doing well. There are some state governors that are also doing well, but we can count them on our fingertips. What are the responsibility of all these, other state governors? What are they doing? But we focus more on the central government, which is the federal government, leaving the state and also local government.
Fortunately, we have to wrap this up at this point, but thank you so much, sir. I think we were able to just share with us some of your insights, and we appreciate your presence here.
Thank you so much.
Let's go on a short break. When we come back, move on with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.